So we've gone through getting the data from the database, creating an item and removing an item. And the last thing we need to do for this course is editing an item. So let's create a new page called edit, and we'll do it in the product folder here, view, empty view, and we'll call this edit. So we'll remove all this, and we'll basically just copy from the remove item. This time we don't want it to be disabled, but this time we do need to include the hidden field for ID. So we'll say ASP-4 ID, and the class, we don't need to fill in any of that because we're just going to have this be disabled. And this is just because when we're updating, we need to pass in the ID as well. So this looks good. We want to change the value here to update. Yeah. So now we want to create the function for it. So we'll do public iActionResult, and we name the file edit, so we'll name the function edit as well. And we will take that ID parameter again, so int ID, and we'll basically do the same thing we did here. So product, and we'll add the question mark to make it nullable. We'll call it obj, and we'll set it equal to underscore db dot products dot where, and then we'll say x dot id is equal to id, so that's correct. And then we'll do if obj is equal to null, we just want to return not found, or else we want to return the view with obj. So that will bring us to this edit view, and let's just run this and see what it does. So we didn't add it to our index file there. So on index, under actions here, we want to add another a tag, and we'll set the class to btn and btn dash, let's see, we'll do secondary just to have something different. And then we'll say ASP controller, so this will be the product controller. Now when we were using this ASP controller function all this time, we only need to pass the ASP controller if we were working in a different controller to begin with. But this index file is already in the product controller product section, so we don't really need to pass this in, but I just always pass in the controller just in case. And then we want to do ASP-route-ID, so we're giving it an ID parameter here, and again this is going to be at obj.id, and we don't need those quotes as we saw in the above delete version. And then we'll do ASP-action, and we'll set this to edit item. I think we just named it edit here. Yeah. And then we'll add the text edit here. So let's just see what this looks like. We have the edit here, and if we click on that, it will take us to this edit page. Right now we disabled this, but we didn't hide it, so let's do that. And let's not make this disabled, or let's just leave it as disabled and hidden. The reason why we make it disabled is maybe someone will edit it somehow and pass it in. But yeah, this should be fine. Now we want to handle what happens when they click the submit button. So HTTP post, and we'll create this edit function again. We'll name it edit. And this time we'll take a product and we'll call it obj. And this time we just want to update the product that's in our database with this one. So to do this, we actually need to do this if model state is valid again, because maybe they passed in some data that's not valid. So we want to do if model state.is valid. Then we want to, let me just fix that. We want to underscore db dot update obj. And then we want to save changes. And we want to return redirect to action. And then we'll redirect to the index action here. So basically same as the create function here. And then we want to return not found if we didn't find the... Actually, it's not that we didn't find it, so we want to return bad request or something. Or actually, let's just return to the view here, because there's one more thing I wanted to show you guys. So if this doesn't work, we'll just return back to the same edit view. And in here, we have ASP4. Yeah, that should work. And then under here, we want to say span. And this is why we're returning back to this page. We want to say span ASP-validation4. So we'll see how this works in a second, and we'll say for name. And basically what this will do is, if there's any error, it will add it into the text of the span, so the user can then see what went wrong. But I don't think we can actually cause an error to happen here, because this is taking a string and this is just taking a number. Maybe we can pass the number wrong and see some validation. So we'll do span ASP-validation4, and this is for the price. And that should work correctly. And let's just run this, and we'll build errors. So it looks like we forgot the closing curly braces here. Let's see. So now if we run this, it should work. We see our edit button here. If we click on it, we can update something. So let's set this to, let me try putting A here and see if that gives us an error. So one thing we can do to figure out what's going wrong here is if we set a breakpoint here. So we'll just set a breakpoint there, and we'll run this, and we should be able to see what's going on behind the scenes. So we'll click on edit, just type some random thing in here, update, and now if we look in the obj, so valid, and then the price is invalid. So let's just go one step forward. It goes to return view. I think I see what's happening here. So we're returning a view, but over here we're returning just the view, and because we're not passing in an object here, this is going to be a blank product object. And then here we're calling model.name and model.price, which there's no value inside the product right now, it's null. So to fix this, we need to pass in the same data that it gave to us. So we'll send obj back, and now this should work. So we'll do edit here, pass some random values, we'll click update, and now we can see it is working and it does give us the validation. So it says the value ASDA is not valid for price. So now if we give it a correct value like 29,99 and with update, it will update correctly. So again, just to recap, we need to create our edit view, which is basically the same as our delete view. We just remove the disabled from the inputs, and then we added this validation here, which we had an error with, but it was just because we didn't pass anything to the product here. So when we were calling model.name here, there was no .name value stored in here, so we passed that into here. And let's just quickly add this validation to the create view as well, just so that we have validation everywhere. We'll do span ASP validation for, and we'll do name, and then here we'll do span ASP validation for, and we'll do price. And then if the crate didn't go off correctly, we want to return back to the same crate view, and we want to give it the same object that it tried to send to us. Or we don't actually need to pass in the object here because we're not using value here. Remember, in the edit thing here, we were passing in a value of what to write in the text boxes, but here we're not doing that, so we don't need to pass anything in here. So let's run this, and let's try to create something with the wrong type of data. So for product name, we can't really mess that up. Test, and then for the price, now we'll put some random letters, and we'll say create, and there we get the validation on the create as well. So now let's do everything correctly just to show that everything is working. We can create a product. We'll call this batch. We'll make it 32.99 or 32,99. We'll create it. Now maybe it became cheaper, so we'll edit it, and now it became 25.50. So that works, and then we'll delete it. So delete, and that works. So this is the end of our ASP.NET course. We've learned the MVC, models, views, and controllers architecture. We've worked with the SQL database using our application DB context and injecting that into the, what was it called? C# program file. And then we've done CRUD, create, update, and delete. So we've covered everything in this course, and I hope to see you in the next course.